Once I started thinking about thoughts as literal frequencies, I learned that I have the ability to enhance a frequency or diminish a frequency. And that's when I started to see my life change completely. But it wasn't something that was widely talked about because you run the risk of sounding completely cuckoo crazy, like me talking about this right now. It's taken a long time to speak openly about this kind of material. Now, these days, it's so much easier. The field and your consciousness is just ready to hear this. But 25 years ago, people thought I was kind of a little bit off center. And it's not that I was so worried about what people thought, it's genuinely difficult to take something that is simultaneously so incredibly simple, yet complex, and make sense of it. This goes into what researchers and physicists are discovering about quantum physics right now: consciousness, the observer effect, the law of attraction. Thoughts are things. You get what you are. All these concepts that I want to talk about today and how understanding them has completely transformed my life. Because let me tell you where I was before all of this. Back in 1998, I was making a six-figure salary. Everything looked great on the outside. I was successful. Then I had a near-death experience outside the Valley of the Kings in Egypt that literally shattered everything that I thought I knew about reality. I returned to the United States completely different, depressed, anxious, angry, and then I soon got fired from my position. I lost everything. My entire life fell apart in what felt like a nanosecond. Everything I had built, everything I had thought was solid and secure, poof, gone. And in that darkness, in that absolute rock bottom moment, I was forced to question everything. Who was I? What reality actually was? Whether was any meaning to all of this. But that's when something shifted. I started learning how to change my frequency and clear the blocks. I just wanted my old life back, and I was beginning to heal the depression, the anger, all of it. And then I started re-interviewing for those jobs again, those six-figure roles. I interviewed for 3 roles, 3 interviews for each role. That's 9 interviews total. And I was never selected, not once. And I was pissed. I was so mad at God. The rejection was relentless. It was crushing. And it was in that moment of a fit of rage with the universe that I finally surrendered. And I surrendered to the thought that I'm here to teach others. And I saw this as a sign, a new path opening. The universe was showing me that I wasn't supposed to go back to that old life and that career path. I was supposed to teach people about the quantum tools that I had learned in my near-death experience, tools relating to healing and manifestation. So now it's been 25 years of teaching this work. And I ended a decade-long battle with anxiety and depression. I used to wake up crying because I was just so freaking anxious. All of that shifted through what I'm about to talk about here. And it's all completely free. That's the thing. It's entirely free. I just don't think people discuss it in these terms. So let me break it down what I mean by frequencies. At the end of the day, we're all a simulation of the thoughts that we think. When you hear those sayings, birds of the feather flock together, like attracts like, or you get what you are, I think they're really talking about frequencies. What I didn't realize is I was doing for so long is thinking on a very low frequency level. We're always thinking thoughts all day, every day. We're thinking. But we have this natural tendency as humans to think on a lower frequency. I think it's a result of our survival programming and the influence of those around us. We tend to notice bad things, the scary things, the what ifs. And in terms of the frequency scale, which is consciousness, researchers are now mapping. There's genuinely a spectrum. The highest frequency emotions are joy and excitement and love. And the lowest is shame and fear. And then there's everything in between: the jealousy, the resentment, the anger, the worry. All of it exists on the frequency spectrum. What I didn't realize is that I was thinking on a very low frequency all the time. And it was habitual. It was literally a loop I was stuck in, playing on repeat. So what I started doing is changing my thought patterns to think in terms of frequencies, not just thinking about thoughts, because I think that makes it way more complicated. I really started working on feelings I was experiencing as I was thinking. Because when people talk about manifestation, you get what you are, like attracts like. It's like, yeah, but how do you do that? And when I say this is what I did to change my life, this is truly what I did. I started thinking about the thoughts in terms of frequencies. Like I said, I used to wake up every single day, was immediately bombarded with these negative thoughts, the anxiety, the depression, the fear, lower state frequencies. So rather than staying stuck in that loop, what I started doing was putting on uplifting music the second I woke up, immediately. Some days it was jazz, other days it was top hits and 70s music, whatever. It feels good in that moment, in that day. And then I would apply my quantum energy tools. I teach my students and clients this process. It's like having an energy shower. For 15 minutes every day, I clear those hidden energy blocks. I clear out the negative thinking, emotions that are stuck from the day before, the night, etc. And this raises our frequency, and it becomes so much easier to think happy and uplifting thoughts. Because if you've ever been anxious or depressed, like I was, you can't unthink a feeling. It's there, it's stuck in your gut. It's exhausting. So I had to learn how to clear the energetic debris first. And that's what makes space for that higher frequency thoughts to come in through very naturally. And then because I was doing that energy clearing, I started to feel relaxed, calm. And then I would journal. And honestly, in the beginning of my own awakening after my near-death experience, I journaled every single day for 5 years. I wrote about what I appreciated that day. Some days it was tough. I immersed myself in the vibes of gratitude, a high frequency, and I kept what I call my miracle journal, tracking what's different, the synchronicities, the surprises, my new feelings. I was writing with music alongside of me, and that was really uplifting, elevating music. I don't think we understand the power of music yet. It's another example of frequency. Music is frequencies, just a variety. So if you want to know what kind of mood you're in, pay attention to the type of music you're listening to, for real. And the whole thing people mess up with gratitude lists is that they're writing for the sake of writing. I literally would riff on this paper for the sake of what I was feeling that writing brought to me. And the writing is so important because it's about tying it back to frequencies. You can only really think one thought at a time when you're writing, and it's the thought you're writing. By doing this miracle journal every single day for 5 years, it trained my thought patterns, my frequency, to where my default thinking program was appreciation. I just notice all the beauty around me. And when you start working with the thoughts as frequency, you start tuning in to the frequency more easily and more often. Now I know all of this sounds woo-woo and out there, maybe. Sounds like could be another manifestation thing. But when I say this has truly changed my life, it brought me the money, the people, the health, the belief system. It's taught me how to think about my life as frequencies and my thoughts as things, because we really do get what we think about. I could only ever get dark, difficult, and annoying situations because I was constantly thinking about them and those problems and trying to solve them. So what I learned is that when I was doing my miracle journal practice, I could not write a single thing about the problems in my life. I would instead write about all the things that were going well. And that is, in the sense, practicing that muscle in my mind. It's like going to the gym. We work on our muscles specifically to elevate and strengthen them. We have so much practice in our world with all the input, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the news, all the things that are going wrong. I think our frequency as people in society today is tuned in to notice the bad stuff. But actively noticing the good things made it easier to keep noticing the good things. And then, as they say, you get what you think about. You get what you are. So as a result, because I was noticing good things, I became somebody who started thinking about good things, noticing good things, talking to people in a positive way, feeling in a good mood. And you know what changed for me? Amazing, powerful people started coming around me. All the cool people who I think that way too. And all the cool people who think that way too. Positive, uplifted people came to me. The path and the career I wanted came to me. The money I wanted came to me. The key point is I didn't try to manifest things. I truly think that so much of our life we're supposed to actually feel good and feel happy and believe in the invisible. Believe that life is good to us and that we're supported. The process has truly shown me that God is real and that the universe does have my back. I didn't really think that before. I didn't know or have that faith. But once you start seeing the little things that happen in your life and you start piecing things together, then you start feeling better, you get better. And I'm really fascinated by this because physicists are discovering something remarkable. There's this guy, Thomas Campbell. He was on the Joe Rogan show recently, and he's been studying consciousness for over 50 years. And what people like him are discovering is that Einstein's concept of space time being fundamental may actually just be a step above what's really baseline to our reality, which is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. And what's wild about all of this is that everything around us was created through initially having a thought, thinking about what would it be like to create that, imagining it, and then eventually it became real. So we're all living in our cities, in our homes, in our places where everybody else thought it, and the thought became true. Our thoughts come true is what I've realized. So practicing good feelings, thoughts, paying attention to what I'm thinking, really taking the time in my day to set the atmosphere around me, that bubble of energy, that mood allowed me to go into my day with that mindset. I think we're all receivers or antennas. All of us are antennas that pull in people, pull in things, almost like gravitational pull or a magnet. And you get what you are. You pull in what you are, what you think about. And so, yeah, starting to think about and train my mind, my thoughts in terms of frequencies, truly respecting the concept that thoughts are things. That allowed me to pull in the equivalent of what those frequencies were. And I don't even have bad things in my life anymore, really. I don't have the drama in my life. I don't have the negative people in my life. I'm surrounded by so much good, even just talking to you. It's so incredible. I'm so grateful. I know what it feels like to be stuck in your mind with anxiety and depression and substance issues and all that. It's a sickness of the mind, a sickness of thoughts, a sickness of being consumed with your thoughts. And the thoughts are really just bad habits, looping habits. And so it's all about starting to work out the mind and think in terms of frequencies to embed a new habit. And that's what helped me the most. Let me know your thoughts about this, no pun intended. And if you want to go deeper into how to actually do this work, how to master your mind or hack your reality, I broke down the exact process in a previous video. So I'll link it in the description so you can watch it next. Again, coming through making six figures in 1998, then having a near-death experience, returning depressed and anxious and angry, getting fired, losing everything, going through 9 interviews, not getting selected once, and then finally surrendering to teaching these tools to others. It's been 25 years now. And I've learned a lot about how thoughts change everything through our frequencies. I've worked with thousands of people, all right? I hope you guys have an incredible day. I hope this puts you in the frequency mindset. Maybe put on something that makes you feel good. Throw on some good music. It's a great day. It's a really great day. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.